to the city council meeting for the city of Ferguson on November 18th. Meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for solemn prayer and the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, Deputy Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noel,
Here.
Councilwoman Hilton,
Here.
Councilman Carroll,
Here.
Mayor Jones,
Here.
Councilman Franklin,
Here.
Councilman Palmer,
Here.
Councilman Williams,
Here.
A quorum is present. At this time, we will be opening up our public comments. We ask that you speak into the mic. You have 3 minutes. You are to state your name and the street that you live on. You have 3 minutes. When the alarm goes off, you are to cease from talking and have a seat. If you persist on talking past the 3 minutes, I will hit the gavel and call the common board. If you still persistent on talking, I will call the city manager and for him to call a police officer and have you escorted out. We will finish this meeting at 9 o'clock tonight. So at this time, clerk, please call our first person for public comments.
Cordell Beach,
Evening, Honorable Mayor, and members of the council, Mr. Hampton, Ms. Musgrove. My name is Cordell Beach. I do not live in Ferguson. But my daughter and my grandchildren resided here. In February 2004, I lost my daughter and my grandchildren to a tragic fire at 510 North Clay. The reason I'm here this evening is to request that the property at 510 North Clay be subdivided, so that we can build a memorial garden to honor my family that I lost, okay? I have submitted an application and it has been approved by the planning and zoning already. And that was submitted back in February of this year, okay? I've made numerous trips to the city of Ferguson to plead my case and try and get this application approved. Okay, so I'm here tonight at your mercy to try and get this achieved for my family. I have sent you all an email. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. And I have copies of that email here this evening, if I can distribute them to you.
No, give it to, please.
Basically, the property is owned by friends of the family. They have gifted us half this property for us to be able to do this memorial garden, okay? So if this subdivision goes ahead, we've already started preparing and we've put a lot of money into making this happen. And we're just asking for the council's blessing for we can proceed and finish this project,
Okay. Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
Cynthia Beach. My husband speaks on my behalf.
I didn't hear you what you said.
Can her husband speak on her behalf?
Who signed the,
Cynthia.
council? Do you want to change? They're okay with it.
Okay.
I have some plans here, but I'd like to show you. This is our vision for the memorial garden. And it's basically, say this doesn't get approved, the property is not going to be used for anything. The owners do not plan to build a house there. You're going to have a vacant lot that's going to be overgrown. We've spent a lot of time to clear it. There's a lot of honeysuckle that invaded the property, and we've cleared it. We've cleared trees, and we spent a lot of time and effort for just the beautification of this property. So once again, this is a plea from my family to the council to allow this project to move forward and approve this subdivision. And I believe it will add a lot of beauty to the city of Ferguson once it's finished. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Wendell Phillips.
Good evening, council, Madam Mayor, manager, assistant city manager. My name is Wendell Phillips Berwick. I go by Phil. The last time I spoke at the council, I began reading from the 47 pages through the Sunshine Act that I received, showing where all the money spent on the consent decree went. Now, I guess I'm a messenger. I know there's divided feelings. This morning I met with a good friend, Jerry Knoll, who's coming up after me. He's going to talk about probably some of the great things that this has been done through the Civilian Review Board, unless he has something else to say. I have been becoming aware of the good things that the consent decree did. But because we have a Civilian Review Board now, what do we need to keep paying thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands to overshadow us when we're accountable to a Civilian Review Board and Jesus? You know, Romans 14:4 came to me today. Who are we to judge? So who am I to judge someone else's worker? To their own master, boss man, whatever. They stand or fall. And they will stand. We will stand because the Lord is able to make us stand. I just want to share Romans 14:4. I'm going to start reading some of this for the minute and a half I have left. I had started on what we paid to what law firms beginning this year and moving into 2024. I'm just going to continue on January 8th, 2025. We paid $12,601 to Mintz, Levin, Cohn, Ferris, Glavsky, Papeo on January 8th, 25. Same day, we paid $5,307 to Mintz, Levin, Cohn, Ferris, Glavsky, Papeo on October 31, 2024. We paid $3,530. For a year ago, we paid $2,835 to the Mintz guys on or Popeo guys. On August 8th, 2024, we paid $9,560 to the Popeo group. On July 16th, 2024, $6,043 to the Popeo group. On July, just a few days from that, we paid another $3,690 to the Popeo group. And May 16, 2024, we paid, so I'm going backwards, $10,125 to the Popeo group. This just goes on. I'll be reading this until the cows come home. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Jerry Knoll.
Good evening.
Good
Mayor
evening.
Jones, City Council. My name is Jerry Knoll. I live on Deer Ridge Drive in the Hunters Ridge subdivision. And first I wanted to start off by promoting, or not promoting, but encouraging you to appoint Mildred Kleins to the Ferguson's Future Board. I believe she's applied to it. I know you do board and commissions appointments. Perhaps tonight you might appoint her. Yeah, by happy circumstance, Phil and I talked today about the consent decree. We have opposing views on it. But again, by happy circumstance, he signed up and I signed up right after him. So part of our discussions was that the first question that should be answered about the consent decree is it worthwhile to complete the requirements of the consent decree, which is another way of saying, are the requirements a good thing? Do they help improve our police department? And proponents of the consent decree would say, yes, they are. Opponents of completing the consent decree say things like the city can complete the consent decree without a monitor and a federal judge and all the costs involved. Or they could say, we already have the most constitutional police department in the state. And I believe that too. But these statements acknowledge the benefits that the consent decree has brought to our city and specifically to our police department. And from this, we can infer that opponents of completing the consent decree actually do see the benefits of completing the requirements of the consent decree. So the idea of the city, I want to talk about the idea of the city completing the consent decree requirements on its own. So I would ask two questions. First, if the city has taken 8 or 9 years already to get to where we are right now, still not complete, with a monitor and a federal judge overseeing the effort, is it really reasonable to think that, yeah, the city, we get rid of the monitor and the judge and the city, boom, slick, we'll just complete the consent decree. It's taken us 8 or 9 years with oversight to get to where we are. It's unreasonable to think that the city is going to be able to complete it even faster without oversight. And the second question is, how will the city backfill the expertise given by the monitor and the DOJ in getting to where we are right now? And some of the examples of that are auditing the FPD use of force, training the CRB on use of force, auditing citizen complaints. And recently, the FPD training officer credited the help of the monitor with being instrumental in helping put together the FPD recent training sessions. So those two questions, consider those. How reasonable is it to think the city could actually complete it without any oversight? And I forgot my second point, yeah. Okay, you got the point. Thank you.
Alan Mueller,
Alan Millen, good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, I'm providing part 3 of my series, asking that before the end of this calendar year, you restore full funding to the consent decree. In September, I gave 4 reasons I support the consent decree and the current work of our police department. The consent decree has directly improved community safety for the police as well as the public. The consent decree has improved constitutional policing. The consent decree provides the means for improving police-community relations, and fully funding the consent decree saves the city money in the long run. Since there was no council meeting in October, I provided part 2 to you in an email. In those comments, I reviewed the history of the consent decree funding. I noted that previous city councils took a penny-wise, pound-foolish attitude, minimally funding the consent decree, which significantly extended the time it will take us to achieve a compliance. I also gave examples showing that the consent decree and police department are making progress, but need continuous support so we do not backslide. Tonight, I want to explain some of the reasons why the monitor is valuable to us, building on what Jerry already said. The monitor is the judge's eyes and ears. On behalf of the judge, the monitor mediates between the Department of Justice and the City of Ferguson, assessing both our progress and the quality of that progress. Through the years, the monitor has reviewed and provided valuable feedback on all of the municipal court and police policies, the community policing plan, the crime prevention plan, etc. The monitor continues to review policy changes. Currently, the monitor's main service involves auditing our department's performance. Their audits are rigorous and ensure that we are fully making improvements and are fully embracing the spirit of community and constitutional policing. I have seen numerous examples of the quick response by Ms. Stevens to resolve issues discovered by the monitor's audits. Together, the monitor's audits and the resultant trainings provide an effective and efficient way to improve our officers' performance and bring our department into true compliance with consent decree. To perform the audits, the monitor has brought in well-qualified subject matter experts. The monitor has also made those subject matter experts available to the police department and to the Civilian Review Board, providing valuable trainings and increasing our effectiveness. The monitor has now also taken responsibility for specifically tracking our progress. This was supposed to have been the city's responsibility, but ended up falling to the monitor to provide. Of course, we're paying for this extra service. If we had fully funded the consent decree from the beginning, we could have been found in compliance with the consent decree by now. How long do you want this to take? The timeline is now in your hands. Please restore funding. Thank you.
Janice
Hello, I'm Janice Lawrence Frazier. I'm a member of the Knowles Apartments, and I've been there for over 25 years. And I just have a problem with the trash and the trash pickup and the towing and ticketing of derelict cars. And I just want to know what the process is of like towing those cars or taking them and removing them. Because there's been one in front of my house for like 4 weeks now. And I just want to know what's the process, or do we have to like remove this car ourselves?
Okay. City manager will talk to you later.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mildred Klein.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mildred Kleins, I stay on Castro Drive. I want to talk about a couple of things tonight. One of the things is
Please silence your phone.
I applied for the Ferguson Future Board. Right now, I am retired, been retired 5 years. I have a desire to volunteer and to use my skills. And I've been here 38 years, so I think that I can contribute something to that board that will help move Ferguson forward. Also, I would like to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially when it comes to the city of Ferguson awarding contracts for our streets and roads and building repair, things of that nature. Since Ferguson is over 72% African American, I really would like to know the businesses that Ferguson is contracting out. How does their how diverse are those businesses? Because I really would like to see people who I pay my taxes to, that's working for the city of Ferguson, in the city of Ferguson. I'd like to see some people that look like me working. Also, I'm also want to encourage the council to include in the budget the continuing of the consent decree. We need to see this done. I believe that if we go on and fund it the way it should be funded, you know, we're so far into it that I think not to continue to fund it would be taking steps backwards. Had an opportunity to sit in on the use of force training that was given to the police officers. I'm on the MPSC training committee. And I will say that I was totally impressed with the performance of our officers here in Ferguson. And that is a result of the consent decree. Also, I was so proud when the subject matter expert asked how many of our officers had the critical intervention training. And every last one of them raised their hands. And I don't think you can say that for any other police department here in the state of Missouri. So that made me very proud to be a resident, knowing that we are on the right track and that we just need to continue to do what we're doing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kleins.
Erica Brooks.
My name is Erica Brooks. Also a member,
What street you live on, please?
I live on Mueller.
Thank you.
Okay. I was I'm on the board for planning and zoning. And I was appointed this year by you all. And basically, Adrian Shropshire, who was the chairperson, he told me on October 5th through text, I sent you all emails, you all at the city manager, everybody here has a copy of it. And I was told by him that the Mayor Ella Jones had told him to make sure everybody on planning and zoning take that class. And the city paid for his classes. So he told me, hey, go see Corman Black and get information as to how city can pay for the class. So when he sent me that text, which was on a Sunday, class started on October 7th, I went to the city on that Monday to try to find out the procedure. Now, I'm gonna go this route here because in all this situation, the city took me off out of the class, even though Lavetta she told me that she's gonna go through the process to make sure that the finances were taken care of or whatever, or find out what procedure was done for Corman Black. And she went through that process. She gave me a call. We sat there on the phone and the city, she registered me for the class. I find out that Marriage found out that I'm along with some of the city council people, find that I'm in the class and I've been taken out of the class. So I didn't understand why that was fair for the city to just rip me out of the class. I'm on the planning and zoning board, was given authority to be able to be registered in the class, take the class, and they put somebody else in the class, but they said they don't have any money for the class. That was very unfair. You all have used your authority to the max, were totally unfair through all these personal vendettas that you all have displayed. And it doesn't make sense to me as a city manager to text me today and would text me on last Thursday and tell me that you're gonna take care of the situation. I sent also the email as far as the text is concerned with our conversation. And I'm thinking that I'm still gonna be in the class, and then you tell me, hey, no, I didn't tell you I was gonna take care of that situation. So as of this point right now, I'm not in the class. And you talking about me or anybody else voting for you, Mayor, as far as being in the county, if you're not speaking up for me right here and you're here in Ferguson, there's no way that I'm gonna see you standing up and speaking up for us as citizens here in Ferguson when you're gonna have 88, 87 other municipalities to deal with. And I think it's totally unfair for you as the mayor to stand down and say that you didn't say anything about informing us as citizens take the class, then, take me out of the class. It's totally unfair.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
Rita Happy.
Good evening. My name is Rita Hatchett, and I live on 6112 Dupree Avenue in Ferguson. I've lived there for 50 years. And I'm here to suggest Mildred Klein to be appointed to the board. I think she is very capable of being appointed to the board. And the Ferguson Future Board, that is. She's very active in Ferguson, trying to move Ferguson forward. She's always been busy trying to improve. And number two, I have lived here for 50 years, and the neighborhood has just changed completely. And there are so many dilapidated houses, and I was wondering, what do you plan to do about that? One, I can't remember who he was, but he had said that you all had planned to get rid of some of these old abandoned houses. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Trey Scott.
Good evening, council. I came to you guys last meeting to present to you this proposal on the emerging business leaders. We're a group of collective entrepreneurs within the city of Ferguson, and currently we're offering to go ahead and start up the first Minority Ferguson Chamber of Commerce. So we've been boots on the ground for the last month or so. We recently just got back to be featured on CBS News, and we're looking to go to be featured on CNN News. talk about the work that we're doing here right in Ferguson. So we do what's called a cash mob. It's like a flash mob. We go into businesses and we bring about 50 to 80 people and we generate revenue for local businesses. And so we're currently asking and petitioning for the city council to go ahead and back us in partnership with that. We're currently over about 25 businesses that are signed up as members currently now. We're offering brand awareness, social media management, one-on-one business coaching. We do youth development work. We do a program that's for boomers. We call it Biz for Boomers. We teach boomers that are coming out of retirement on how to integrate into AI, how to integrate into technology. Currently right now, we got about 15 businesses that are signed up for our Small Business Saturday, which will be November 29th. We'll be giving a tour of all the businesses in Ferguson on North Florissant Strip. I do have a petition and a proposal to present to the council. And like last, we were asking if we can just be put onto the next meeting agenda. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Roy Taylor.
I'm gonna pass, it's gonna take me more than 3 minutes to say what I have to say, so pass.
Adrian Swatshire.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening, citizens. Just want to let you in on a few things that the scenario-based training for the police officers was great. We had role playing and it really brought home to what the police officers go through when they're out in the community. I mean, we had Miss Lisa, she was one of the actors, and I mean, she was just all over the place. She wanted to kill herself. And it was just training. And then, you know, Miss Mildred, she was a citizen. And I mean, she was raising Cain. And it was really a good scenario-based training at the community center. And I think the officers, they really got a lot out of it because it was real life. It really was enlightening because I've seen them in action out in the community, and there's always somebody out there that's running their mouth disorderly, trying to get in the conversation to tell them to move back. And it was an excellent training for them. There's one thing that, you know, I've been a leader of young men in football, and I've been a leader with my nonprofit. And there's a sign that I got on my wall. And I think everybody on the council is a leader. And I think you would appreciate this. Leadership only exists if people follow when they would have the freedom to not follow. Otherwise, it's just power. And power is not leadership. And that's something to think about because you guys are our leaders of our city. And I think it's a thin line between power and leadership. And I want to say, I feel everybody does a great job being a leader. And there was a community handout that I was a part of with the 8th Dimension Wellness Center Sunday. And they gave out approximately 25 boxes of goods for Thanksgiving. And then I will be participating with Sin Relief on the 23rd and 24th. Meal prep will be on the 23rd, and the 24th will be their community dinner up at Sin Relief, and that is in the old First Baptist building. So if the council can show up to be just to be a part of it and to share that your leadership, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to support what Ellen said.
What street you live on, please?
Caldwell Court.
Thank you.
May I?
That was instructions. that when everybody
Ma-
comes to the podium, you state your
Mayor.
name and what street you live on,
Okay,
okay?
so I'm good?
It's all good.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. As I was saying, I wanted to support everything Ellen said about the consent decree, particularly the role of the various players such as the monitor, and the monitor being the eyes and the ears for the judge. And it's essentially something like like a court cost, because the judge can't come in and review and evaluate our progress. And so she asked the monitor to do that for us. And it is a court cost, being part of the consent decree. I also want to agree with everything Jerry said, Jerry Knowles says. And I also want to offer to Phil that I can help him look at the information he got from the city and help format it so it could be evaluated and analyzed and evaluated. Lastly, I want to say, I know Mildred Clines applied for the Ferguson Futures Board some months ago. So, and the city has not been having regular meetings and things like that. So it's a couple months later, but I want to say, you know, I've worked with Mildred on quite a few projects. She is a jewel to, and the city can't ask for better unpaid help than to utilize the resource of Mildred Clines in the future, the Ferguson Futures Board. That's it.
Thank you. That ends the public comments. We move on.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
You have the floor, Councilman Kassoff.
I'd like to move to amend the agenda and table bill number 7322.
There's a motion on the floor to amend the agenda and table bill number 7322. Is there a second?
Second, Lamika Covington.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Bill number 7322 has been tabled. We move on to the manager's report. City manager.
I'll have Chief Doyle, Corey Gilbert, present tonight. Start off with Corey Gilbert on public works, and then we'll go to Chief Doyle.
Good evening, Council and Mayor.
Good evening.
I'm gonna give a few public works updates in regards to our street improvement projects. I'll move past the proceed date and all that with Roberts. That project has begun already. As you know, the 230 days after the project starts, with weather permitting, this project should be done by early spring. Capital improvement, street improvement projects. Concrete slab replacement, milling and asphalt overlay and curbs, reconstruction. With council's approval, and the change order, these are the streets that will be improved this fiscal budget year. East Lake Drive, Leicester Lane, Colchester Drive, Bromley Drive, Sandringham Drive, Thatcher Avenue, Hutton Place, St. Louis Avenue, concrete slab replacement, Ellsworth Place, concrete slab replacement, Parker Avenue, concrete slab replacement, Clark Avenue, Carson Avenue to Airport Road, total reconstruction, Walling Court, Marguerite Avenue, Abson Avenue to Airport Road, Marie Avenue, east of Robert Avenue, Elizabeth to Lamont Avenue, Dade Avenue, Airport Road to Dade Bridge. Our focus in public works this fall
We'll be addressing all the tree issues inside of the park. City-owned trees inside of the city right away. Also cracks in our newly resurfaced streets, to preserve and maintain longevity of our roads. Also, cutting back city-owned lots, with all the overgrowth. Any questions?
Councilman Williams, then Councilman Franklin, then Councilwoman Noah.
Just a comment. So it's about to be inclement weather. I think you guys did a really good job last year, but people need to be patient because they're cozy in their houses and you guys are risking your life to clear the roads. So, just want people to be patient when it's inclement weather. Let you guys do your thing and not have all the negativity.
Thank you, Councilman.
Is nuisance abatement, is that under Public Works or Community Development?
Community development.
Okay. All right.
Okay, excuse me, I have a couple questions. The first question is regarding St. Louis Avenue. So St. Louis Avenue is a part of the STP project, right?
No.
No, okay, that's Paul. I apologize. Okay,
Yes,
right.
that's correct.
So that's Paul, that's my mistake. So with St. Louis Avenue, a few years ago, didn't we replace some of the slabs with the ARPA dollars? And
Yes.
so now are we going to replace we're going to improve the entire street?
No, we're gonna improve some more slabs and then next fiscal year, we're gonna look to overlay that whole road.
Okay, so for clarity, there are 16 streets on this list and 3 of those are in Ward 3. And so just for clarity, is there an opportunity to get a few more streets I mean, how did you all come up with that?
Yeah, so we has been in our comments, we talked about this last time. And I told you that we were not gonna have many streets in Ward 3. A lot of your streets in Ward 3 qualified for the CBDG and this STP, and we did a lot in Ward 3 the last couple of years through the STP and the CBDG. We're looking at our worst streets and trying to get them up to par.
Okay. Well, and I ask for clarity because the Public Works Director is here. And when we have these neighborhood meetings or I receive emails or if I'm out in the community, he's Mr. Taylor, who is questioning the speed humps on Meadowcrest. Can you speak to that?
Yes, I'm working with the company right now. We're in early spring, they'll be back. They owe us 6 speed humps. So they'll be back to address those and Meadowcrest will be one of the streets that gets 2 speed humps.
So Meadowcrest will receive 2 speed humps. Thank you, Corey. Okay, so the streets, the 16 streets okay. For clarity again, those will or won't be 100% street improvement. It could just be slabs, like you stated for St. Louis Avenue. It may not
We need
be.
to do to improve our streets, even if it's a slab replacement, if it's an overlay, it's considered street improvement.
Okay, well, I asked just so that I can explain to residents, because I know like Ellsworth Place was patched up a couple years ago, and so it is better. But for clarity, that street will be totally improved or,
We'll replace the bad slabs this year.
okay. Can you, if you can, speak to Edge Hill, or if you get a chance, can you go over there and look at Edge Hill? Because residents have questioned what's going on. There are 2 sinkholes. I don't know. Again, I understand that these are the streets that are going to be, improved in the next fiscal budget year. It is what it is. But if we could
Make
just,
sure he goes to that show.
okay.
Please bring that through.
And then the last,
Please bring that through my office.
well, and and that's what I was gonna say. I have sent the city manager, I've CC'd Councilwoman on the email, so. Okay, just the FYI, I have, because Harrison is another street, the residents, when I'm out, they're just like, well, Councilwoman Noah, you all improved Randolph, when are you gonna get to Harrison? So just like Wilmot Court, I understand that it takes money, which takes time, But if we could at least get those streets patched up a little bit better, because again, this is the number one concern. And people know that I'm not exaggerating that, and that is nothing negative towards you. It's just that I just want to be able to have an open, comfortable conversation without you feeling like I'm out to get you, because I'm not, okay? Other than that, the trimming, just again, and I have submitted these concerns to the city manager, just the overgrowth trimming on streets like Fermo, Annabelle, Wabash, Oliver, the end of Thomas, off of Ruggles. Just because again, these are residents, a lot of residents' number one concern, the way that their neighborhood looks.
Can you email the city manager that list of streets?
Of course I will. Other than that, thank you, Corey.
Yeah.
Thank you, city manager.
Anyone else? Franklin?
So this question is for our city manager. Nuisance abatement, I have questions about that line item. So, you know, in this fiscal year budget, we allocated 100,000 but we actually forecast 700,000. So I wanted to know where we were.
That's last year.
That was last year?
Mhm.
So where were we at? What was that final projection?
That's why we have a nuisance team in the house now, because of that $700,000 overgrowth of what happened. So, what basically happened is the billing all came in at one time at the end of the year, right? And it just all of a sudden was $700,000. I believe they put a name, and then, so that's why we have an in-house nuisance team. So we do have, you're correct, it is 100,000 right now, and that's, mostly for equipment, things like that.
So is it, you know, I've been requesting for council if we could see like a line item from that fiscal year of what we spent that money on. I know what it says in general, abatement, grass.
Yeah, so
But
abatement of grass, but I can get that for you, and I can also tell you, how much we've collected on liens, that we did put on properties.
okay, thank you.
So we did recover some of that 700,000.
Anyone else for the public work, director? Corey, I just want to say thank you and for rating the streets. A lot of people think the streets are not rated, you just pick them up out the air.
No.
But the streets are rated and you're going by the rating of the streets to have them fixed.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to thank you for that. And thank you for the work that you are doing with East-West Gateway. I thank you for that. You make my job easy. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, we will be applying for CDBG funds, and we're also applying for SCP funds as well.
And CDBG is $155,333.
Yes, ma'am.
Traditionally, can we apply for 2 years?
I can try to apply for 2 years. They gave us 2 years up front a couple of years ago, so
Yeah,
I'll try to apply 2 years.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Corey.
So this time I'd like to call Chief Doyle for his police department.
Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
As usual, provide you with the report from the police department. I don't have a clue. As always, I'm gonna focus on the 6 focus areas, which is staffing, part 1, part 2 crimes, case updates, traffic updates, and some community engagement stuff. Staffing, everything is pretty static as it has been in the past. However, I did want to highlight a few things here. We did hire a gentleman from the Jefferson County Police Academy, which I'll talk about him shortly. He was just sworn in this month. We had another officer or candidate, I should say, that applied for the police department that our citizens panel interviewed this last month, this last month, that is interested in attending the January Police Academy class at the Academy. She successfully completed the interview. She's currently in the background stage with the police department. Recently, HR has sent me a ton of applications, I would say well over 10 or so, Jonathan, to the police department of other individuals that are interested in becoming Ferguson police officers. I also had an opportunity to look at some numbers too. Since April of 2023, As far as attrition rate on the police departments, this is actually pretty low. We have lost approximately about 12 officers since 2023. And to be frank with you, 2 of them were terminated. And the other ones that did leave were people that probably weren't going to fit in with the new direction of the police department. So the attrition rate, to make a long story short, is fairly low. As you all are well aware, the demographics, female representation of the police department is a mirror of our community here in Ferguson. Right now, we're in a process of prioritizing, looking for experienced police officers for the city. As you may know, our police department is fairly young, but we want to balance that off with some experienced officers too, to try to, stabilize, some experience out there. But I say all that to say this, as you can tell, Ferguson PD wasn't always known as a destination place for police officers, but I think it's safe to say that we have become a destination place for police applicants and officers. These slides are not accurate. These are from the previous presentation, but I will give you the updated information here. So aggravated assaults increased slightly, and it was driven mainly by conflicts among known individuals. We did see an increase in robberies compared to previous month. We had 2 in October October compared to 1 in, I believe in September. Larceny and thefts increase and continue to drive our property crimes. A lot of that is a lot of the shoplifting from Walmart and some of the businesses in the business district up there. Homicides, we had a number of different homicides. One we had recently, which I'll talk about here shortly. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the national homicide clearance rate nationally is like 45%. Here in, for FPD in 2024, our clearance rate for homicides were 92%. And currently here in 2025, our clearance rate is 90%, which is a testament to our detective bureau and the hard work that they're doing. But I will also add that, what you guys approved in the budget with a lot of the technology things that we've added over the last couple of years that extremely assisted our department in regards to catching criminals and solving crimes. Part 2 crimes, again, this slide here is not accurate, but trespassing and disorderly conduct remains elevated near a lot of our apartment complexes. But other than that, the part 2 crimes is pretty static. We were up 14% comparing October to the previous month. You guys are aware of this. This gentleman was arrested recently here, actually turned himself into FPD. He instructed his daughter to assault a young lady on a school bus. He was charged with the crime, 1st-degree harassment, assault, and the 4th-degree 2 counts, and trespassing on a school bus. This individual was given a $100,000 cash only bond. We also had a campus shooting at Flo Valley. Investigation revealed it was a self-inflicted gunshot wounds, a suicide, but I think it's still important to mention it. We got here. Missing a slide, a couple slides too, but I'll jump to that. So traffic warnings and citations. We issued over 3,000 traffic interactions this year. 60% were warning and 40% of those were actually citation. Again, I think that reflects a good balance of not only were we writing tickets, but we also educating our public on the traffic laws here. As it relates to, again, the traffic traffic actions, we were up 57%, a 39% increase in traffic citations, and a 98% increase in overall traffic warnings comparing year-to-date information. As you're all aware that our city has experienced in my opinion, a higher percentage of individuals that have been struck by vehicles, pedestrians. The main cause is people walking and running in the traffic ways. We have partnered with UMSL University to do a traffic study for us. We're waiting on those results. And once I get those results, I'll be happy to report that to the city. Fed yield rate is down 13%. As it relates to community engagement, again, this year we participated in the National Night Out events throughout the city. We doubled the number of events that we had from the previous year, which is a good sign that our residents are recognizing the things that are going on in our community, and our community is being very active in, in partnering with the police department. That helps obviously build trust and help stabilize our community. These just more pictures from the National Night Out. I also want to give praise to the Parks Department, the Fire Department, Police Department. We all participated in a pumpkin carving over at the firehouse. Huge turnout. If you all attended, very well attended. Everybody had fun. PD, the Fire Department. John, I believe you had more fun than the kids in regards to carving a lot of the pumpkins. But no, it was a good thing. We talk about National Night Out. We talk about these pumpkin carving events, and going a little bit of a soapbox here, but our city oftentimes we attract attention with our struggles, but rarely do we get enough attention with our successes here. But all these things that we talk about in regards to community engagement are, we need to celebrate these things as wins for our city, and and try to tune out a lot of the negativity. Regards to Travis Brown, on October the 10th last month, I had the distinct opportunity, or distinct honor, I should say, of draping him with the Wounded Blue organization. Gave me an opportunity to drape him with the Blue Shield Award, or Blue Heart Award, which is given to officers that are seriously injured in the line of duty. Great turnout. We had a number of Travis' former colleagues from St. Louis County that flew down to Nebraska to attend this event. Just a great honor for him and his family. They continue to thank the city of Ferguson and our residents for their continued support. So again, he's continuing to make steady progress, incremental progress. I talked with Mom yesterday. They're getting to the point now where they're getting ready to start to try to teach him how to walk again. So, obviously can't stand now, but they're getting to the point where they're getting ready to try to start doing those type of things. So at this point, I entertain any questions that the council, anyone may have.
Any
Yes, sir.
questions? Councilman Palmer, then Councilman Williams, Councilwoman Noor. Go ahead, Palmer.
Would it be possible, maybe in future presentations, not so much on a monthly basis, but quarterly or semi-annual, get some longer term data on crime and maybe traffic citations and such?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to recall, but I think, 4 and 5 years ago, we might have been doing like 5 traffic stops a month.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of good to see that longer trend over a longer period of time. And maybe also see kind of longer term trends with part 1 or part 2 crimes, if that's possible.
Yeah. So ironically, Jerry Knowles and I had a conversation about that earlier this afternoon about that. This year's, like I said, was a little bit different because we went to a new software program. So it was hard to do the year-to-date stuff, but I wanted to be able to present something to you all so you at least have an idea of what's going on. But I like that idea. I think it's good because it gives us an opportunity, at least give you an opportunity to see crime in trends at a,
It also helps kind of defect some of those outliers you see where you had like the burglaries where they were heightened because of one individual.
Yes.
A lot of that can be smoothed for a long period of time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Comment and a question. So my comment, you were a St. Louis County police officer and you were actually retired. So we coaxed you out of retirement. And during your presentation, you said you needed some senior officers. Is there any way you can coax some of your fellow colleagues out of retirement to come to Ferguson? That might help because I know you're in a search for assistant chief. And I know you're very particular because you want them to have the same type of culture you have. But that might be an idea to coax some of the people that you work with in St. Louis County to come out of retirement, even if it's just for a year or two, because their leadership can help the younger officers. And like you said, this is a destination place for police officers when that was not the case some years back. And so my question, since they paved Elizabeth, it is a speedway. And sometimes I find myself going a little fast and I slow down. So it was a gentleman, he said he's been here 50 years. So he's probably in his 70s, maybe 80s. He didn't call me. He didn't email. He actually wrote me a physical letter and it was in my box for months because I never check it. And he says he has a problem backing out of his driveway. I think he said he's talked to you. He's talked to his city manager. And I asked him, I said, well, what suggestions do you have? He said, I don't know. I don't know either, but I know Hudson, I travel Hudson a lot. That's like a roller coaster. You could take your foot off the gas. You could do like 50 easy. It was a sign on the speed limit, temporary, and it flashed. And that made me cognizant to slow down. I don't know if that can help or you need to do tickets, but this guy, he actually wrote me 2 letters. So I don't know what can be done. And I know since it's paved, it's smooth. You know, I could see maybe 5 or 10, but he says some people go like 60. He can't even back out of his driveway. So I just want to bring that to your attention. The only thing I had for him with a little, not the big ones that monitor your speed, they're the square ones that go on the actual speed sign.
Yes.
And they flash. And that made me on Hudson like, yo, you're going too fast, slow down.
Right.
So, you know, that's just something I want to bring to your attention. I know we can't do speed bumps or anything because it's a county road. And I know Chief would hate that for the fire trucks anyway. But, you know, just bringing it to your attention because this gentleman, he wrote me 2 letters and I couldn't believe it. And they weren't typed. They were written out and signed. So he's probably in his 80s. He's been here a while. That's it.
Can I answer one thing on that, please?
Of course, City Manager.
With the flashing light, thing around this, speed limit, we have 2 of them. And 4
2 or
more.
3 more coming, I think.
Yeah, and so what our goal was to try to do is get them in each ward, correct, Chief? And so they are, like you said, you know, bring awareness.
Yes.
So we've been moving them around right now, but hopefully we'll get more that we don't have to move them around as much.
Relates to the speed, we have done enforcement on Elizabeth, of course, but you know, speed is one of those issues that, or one of those things that, you know, obviously if the police are sitting there, I mean, you're gonna write some tickets, you're gonna slow some people down, but obviously when you're not there, you know, it's problem is trying to be consistent. The problem with that is that we also get a number of radio calls to the officers of bouncing back and forth on, but we do have a dedicated traffic officer. He actually is the one that's putting those signs up that you see blinking.
Yeah.
He's also the one that's out here doing a lot of the enforcement too. So the problem with Elizabeth too is that it's hard to set up their, you know, to do radar enforcement. I know some residents has offered us the opportunity to utilize their driveways to sit in there, you know, to sit out there, but make it long story short, we have written tickets over there, but it continues to be an issue.
Okay. Thanks.
Councilwoman Orr.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Right quick, Chief, will FPD or has FPD received any grants in which we can purchase more of those flashing stop signs to place near our parks or near our schools? I would like to see one near Coke if ever possible.
Yes, so,
Thank you.
so we just spoke of, we do have, I believe, is it 2 more, Scott? How many? 3 more coming. Again, it was purchased through grants. And, so we do have 3 more companies. The goal is to try to, you know, obviously be firm and put them in each ward.
Okay, Chief, 2 things. One, you attended the Save Lives Now meeting last night. Can you briefly talk about that? Number 2, Shot Spotters. We got an excellent report from Shot Spotters. We don't pay for it, but we got an excellent report. So if you could do those 2.
Yeah, and I start with Shot Spider. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but obviously I believe I sent it to you. I think we were down like 36% as far as incidents and somewhere around 30% in actually shots fired. Again, which is a good thing for our city. I know we continue to get complaints about shots being fired, but the numbers do show that it is trending down, and it's been trending down for the last several years. As you mentioned, ShotSpotter does provide this service for us for free. However, it probably will end here anytime soon. I'm imagining probably by the end of the year. So, but they have been kind enough to provide that data to us, you know, for the rest of the year. Save Lives Now is a program that's being introduced out of St. Louis County. And without going into a lot of details, it's essentially, I don't know if you're familiar with the Boston ceasefire model or project out of Boston. And essentially, it's the stick and carrot method. They try to identify those individuals that have a, I guess, a high capacity or want to engage in violence. They go out, try to meet with those individuals and basically saying, hey, look, we know who you are, what you're doing, and we're here to try to offer you some type of resources to try to, you know, if you need a job, tell us, you know, what's your skill set, or we try to send you to school to try to get you to obtain a skill set. The goal is to try to get those individuals out of the life of crime that they're in. That being said, they also, if those individuals turn down those resources and service, then they, you know, obviously let them know that, you know, if you not willing to take us up on that, then obviously we will enforce the law and, you know, and arrest you accordingly when you engage in some crimes. The goal is to try to reduce homicides in North St. Louis County by 20%. I think it was by 2026, I think it was,
Right.
whatever. So it's the gist of it.
Thank you.
So
Councilman Williams.
that was good. You just mentioned to save lives. You guys have a partnership with Flow Valley, maybe have some free or reduced classes. So what if this individual is doing a life of crime? They might not be doing it because they want to, but Ameren is not giving them electricity free. And they say, yeah, I'll take you up on that offer. What's the next step? They said, you know, if Flow Valley will give a certain amount of credits free or part tuition, do we have some type of program with them? I've been screaming that forever.
Right.
So this program is good, but what are the resources? Who's tapping into those resources?
Yeah, so there, as part of this program, they got a number of different wraparound resources. So I know they partner with like the Urban League, a number of nonprofits.
Bridges.
Yeah, and that able to, you know, provide some of these wraparound services for them to help them with making those contacts with Ameren or making contacts with whoever, you know, Mr. Anheuser-Busch or whoever to try to.
Can you see if Flow Valley can get in that list?
They may be on there, but I can check.
Okay, thank you.
St. Louis County had the funding for it.
Yeah, so, well, not right now. The council hasn't approved the budget for the funding yet. I think St. Louis County is looking for like $1.7 million to fund this program. And, so it's right now, being held up until, the budget is approved, of course.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chief. City Manager?
Yes, Mayor. I just have two things I want to talk about. First off, as you get slower, we have to be mindful of our space heaters. And also cleaning out our chimneys and our flues. I will have a firefighter here next month to talk about fire. What's that?
Okay.
Okay, talk about fire safety. And then we also have Santa and Sirens that is gonna be starting December 5th. It will also be that Sunday, so it's Friday, and then Sunday will be with the FSPD from 3 to 6 at the 501 Plaza with the tree lighting, I believe, between 5:30 and 6. I know that's where we're also gonna start off that night with Santa and Sirens. And then the night before, Flow Valley has just completed its 2 renovations of the student center. And then also it was the engineering building, which is now the admin and the AI building. They also have an art gallery there as well. The next thing, I believe they're gonna tear down a couple buildings and then we'll see what happens from there. But they are really fixing the place up at Flow Valley, very nice. And if you haven't been up there in a while, I encourage you to go up there and drive around. It's pretty impressive what they're doing. And then the last thing is, the night before Thanksgiving is Guns and Hoses. And we do have a firefighter participating in the fight for in the boxing ring. And it's a charity for stoppers, for police or firefighter or first responder that gets killed in line of duty or severely injured.
Okay. Anything else? Councilwoman Noah?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you speak to the
would you speak to the new development on Fermo, please? Because residents have asked what's going on Fermo. Could you just speak to that? And also, I would like a complimentary ticket to the boxing match, if
Yeah.
possible.
I don't even get a.
It was a joke. It was
So it's a charity thing for, yeah, so, but I believe it might be on TV. I think Channel 2 does show it. And then, I believe it's a row home, that is being built. Mr. Palmer is the one that's building it. He can probably talk a little bit more on that than me. But, Mr. Palmer?
Go ahead.
If you're aware, about 2 years ago or so, there was a boundary adjustment brought before council to consolidate a variety of small non-conforming lots in the southern part of Ward 3. There were still 3 dilapidated structures standing, but if you look back in the history, the archives, there was at one time, I think 13 or 14 homes there. The site was consolidated, resurveyed, and then divided into 4 equal parts. And then a 6-unit row house development has been permitted and approved on one of those parcels. This falls within our form-based code, our long-term strategic plan, and it met every one of the city's current requirements and goals and guidelines. That's why it was permitted by right. The hope is that this can be built and hopefully a little bit of money can be made, because if it's kind of a test project for me personally, not that it really matters to anybody in this room, but new construction is kind of unheard of in town. So I'm kind of going out on a limb and see if it's even possible, because I have a suspicion there might not be a whole lot of opportunity within the city because of so much blight throughout the city. But I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. And if one gets built, if you see another one, that means it went well. If you never see another one, you're going to drive down the street and say, why on earth is that thing staying there? That looks completely different than everything in the neighborhood. But it's part of the city's long-term plan was to have condensed housing, 2-story within that zoning district. That was part of the 2040 plan, as well as the form-based code. So far as that's actually been rezoned as DT5. And that would have gone back to probably 15 years ago when that work was done, I'm guessing. Do you guys know when the form-based code was passed? Do you know when the form-based code was passed? I think it was 15 years ago or so, but any other questions anybody has, I can answer, but.
Well, thank you. I wanted, because like I said, people are asking like, what's being built there? And I'm like, well, I'll just ask in the council meeting. So hopefully it will go well, and good luck.
Thank you.
City manager.
Yes. As you notice, there's some work done on the cabooses. That's through the fire department outreach program. They're working with the Historical Society. And then Public Works will finish up the roofing, which will save us another $17,000. So the only money that we're out is just a few things of wood right now for the train cabooses.
Okay, anything
So
else?
labor's been free on that.
Okay, thank you. And we saving monies on the street, but we'll talk about that when we get to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
resolution.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other question for the city manager? Hear none, city manager report is closed. We don't have anything for a special presentation tonight. We move to public hearing. We don't have a public hearing tonight. We have the consent agenda. City council minute meetings. The regular council minute meetings on September the 23rd, 2025. We have, those minutes need to make a couple of adjustments. City clerk?
Yes, so both minutes, public comments need to be moved forward. They have the convention of the agenda, I'm sorry, the minutes for that, minute, so please move it up. Still don't have the actually.
Okay, and also in the minutes from September the 23rd, the council had agreed that no board or commission members has the right to go to the city manager and ask anything without coming to the council, because the council are the ones, we are the ones who appoint you to those positions. And if you want anything you have to go to the council. That was stated in September the 23rd minutes. We move to the regular council minutes of 10/14/25, the regular council minutes in 10/28/205. I'm gonna request a motion and a second to amend and correct the minutes from 9/23 first.
Do we want,
I had a question for you. About 23, the minutes.
Okay.
So I don't recall council voting or voting for that requirement for planning it, well, boards and commissions to come before council. You made a statement, but this council did not approve or vote on anything.
We didn't have to vote. I asked that everybody agree and everybody agreed.
I don't recall that, but I'll go back and watch it and read the minutes.
Well, go back and read the minutes.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to remove September 23rd from the consent agenda, and we can just move forward and approve the 2 October ones now, and we can revisit that at our next meeting.
We can do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
And I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda for the 2 remaining minutes.
Is there a second?
I second Lamika Covington.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. So order. We have board, commission meeting minutes. The Civilian Review Board from September the 8th, 2025. Civilian Review Board, October the 6th, 2025. The Ferguson Special Business District Board, which is October the 20th. And the Ferguson Special Business District on October the 23rd. I request a motion in a second to receive and file the commission meeting minutes.
Madam Mayor, would that be September the 20th, or did they really have 2 meetings in October and none in September?
Well, what happened is,
They did have 2 in October?
Did you have 2 meetings in October?
let me, hold on.
I just don't want to approve it if it's an error.
No, it shouldn't be here.
Okay, well, if it's correct, you go ahead and make the motion. Just seems weird to have 2 meetings.
Let's approve the one from October 23rd and let me confirm 10/20.
Okay, so I move to remove the 10/20 meeting of the Special Business District Board from the consent agenda.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I move to approve the remaining minutes for the consent agenda.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, the minutes will be filed. We move to appointments. Councilman Franklin,
Thank you. I would like to motion to appoint Ms. Mildred Klein to the Ferguson Future Foundation.
Second, Naquita Noah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. You are, Mildred Klein is appointed to the Ferguson Future Foundation Board. We don't have any requests tonight. We don't have any proclamations. We move to the resolutions. We have resolution number 2025-22. Without any objections, anyone would like to sponsor this resolution? Without objections, we will introduce this resolution as council as a whole. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. A resolution supporting the city of Ferguson, authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a change order on the existing contract with Spencer Contracting Company for SIP Streets improvements.
City manager.
Mayor and council, as you saw Corey's presentation, you saw that long list of streets. if we went out for bid, we would not have that long list of streets. Also, our engineering is also being taken care of by Spencer, which would save us over $100,000, as you guys well know. So we're putting that right back into the streets by doing a simple change order. Also with that change order, we get last year's prices on asphalt and I believe labor as well, correct, Corey? Yes. And so this is ultimately a money saver for the city.
Councilman Palmer.
I have one question and one suggestion. My first question is, as a matter of accounting, when the project is complete, does staff review the weigh tickets from the asphalt plant to verify that we're getting the correct tonnage? And if not, making sure that we are being credited for the tons that have not been supplied to us?
Yes, and that's how College Drive was done, because we had extra asphalt that was not, and so that's why College Drive was able to be asphalted.
I'm glad to hear we do that. My next suggestion is if you review the spreadsheet that they, this is a popular form that they populate quite frequently, obviously. You'll see there's like mobilization fees for each street, and also same with testing and traffic, traffic signage and so on and so forth. If you'll notice, the numbers are identical for every single street. My suggestion would be to talk with the contractor and actually verify some of that, because oftentimes when I see a mill overlay, they're in a damn sign out there. So if we're being charged for cones and signage and it's not being present, we should probably ask about that. But on top of that, if you recognize 2 of these sites are within the same neighborhood or in proximity to each other, there should not be 5 mobilization charges for Colchester, Bromley, Sandringham, Eastlay, and the 5th street that's in there. They're charging you over $25,000 in mobilization fees. That's gonna be one site. They're gonna mill that entire thing in 1 or 2 days, and they're gonna pave it all in 1 or 2 days. They're not gonna, I understand mobilization charges in my business. It's when you move the mill, you move the equipment, all the guys show up to a different street far from each other. That's not gonna be the case in this situation. Same with, there was 2 others that were adjacent to each other. Thatcher and Hutton. There's gonna be 1 mobilization for that job, I guarantee it, and they'll be out before lunch.
Okay.
So
Before we sign that contract, I'll have Corey address that with the.
just kind of look it over. You'll see it's the same 5,200, 1,000, 1,204 for every single project. And I'm not aware of much testing that gets done when it comes to an asphalt mill overlay job. I know with concrete they do cores, but I'm not aware of much asphalt testing that gets done when they mill it. They just make sure it's thick enough, and it's just a thing they stick in the ground. So that's my only suggestion. Just save a little bit of money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Here none, I request a motion in a second for approval.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Deputy Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington, sorry.
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff.
Well, I have a question. Councilman Palmer raised an issue, and I don't know whether that issue requires that we do any reconsideration, or is it the councilor's wish that we go ahead and pass it?
We can always adjust the bill.
It's a question for the contractor. They could also say, we took all of our mobilization charges for all the sites and we divided them evenly. They might say that. I doubt it, but they might say that. My guess is internally, Spencer Contracting says, hey, every estimator who works here, mobilization fee for a street job is $5,200. That's my guess. So
do you want to pass it now, or do you think we need to adjust this or inquire before we pass it?
I would ask the city manager, is there an intention for any of this work to be completed this year before winter?
Yes, I believe some of that. Corey, did you want to come up? I mean, it all will not be done before winter.
Personally, I'm still willing to pass it just on the hopes that staff does their efforts. I mean, they're always trying to save money. I understand, there's always streets to pave.
Yeah,
So
so with that being said, I mean, this would be the most amount of money, and we can come down after we get that corrected. Or we can add another street.
Okay, well, is that, so you're okay?
I'm fine with it. I mean,
All right,
his radar.
then I'll vote aye.
Thank you, Corey, for coming back up. Before we go to vote, please call for the question before we vote.
Some of them are.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-22. We move to resolution number 2025-3. Without objection, we introduced by all council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. A resolution selecting a contractor to provide impactful technology software solutions, awarding the contract to said contractor, and authorizing the city manager to execute the contracts on behalf of the city.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is going to be for the police department. I believe it's already in the budget from this year. And this is just more software that they need to be more transparent, promoting positive training management, early intervention, and the equipment management, policy distribution, performance safety, and driver improvements, workflow through driver improvements and compliance. So this is software that has already been approved in the budget. We're just bringing it because it's over the 10 grand.
Okay, any questions? Hear none, I request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second, Lamika Covington.
Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-23 passes. We move to resolution number 2025-24. Without objections, we introduce with all the council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. A resolution supporting the city of Ferguson, authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a structural and interior contract with Crossroads Construction.
City manager.
Mayor and Council, as you're aware, we had a car go through the engine house. We still have to get estimates on the truck, which will be brought back to the dealer. However, this deals with the engine house. Those blocks are not made anymore, so we do have to buy 3,000, which we can use some other projects within the city or at that engine house. We've worked with the insurance company through their vendors and a vendor that we've known that has done work for us already on Project 2. So they know our layout and how the bricks are to be laid. They also know that they're structural bricks. So we will have no money out. This is through an insurance claim that, like I said, we won't have any penny out because it's being paid for by the driver that they're on.
Okay, any questions for the city manager? Question. Councilman Palmer.
Is the insurance company paying for the 90% additional blocks that we don't need?
So they're paying for everything.
Insurance company's paying for 3,000
They're paying
blocks.
for 3,000. They
Where-
know that the bricks cannot be made, or they have to be made, and that they're no longer being made currently.
Where are we gonna put 2,800 blocks?
We'll have to figure it out.
Okay, because there are blocks.
There are blocks.
Okay, thank you.
I'm requesting a motion in a second for approval.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second, Lamika Covington.
Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-24 passes. We move to resolution number 2025-25. Without objections, we introduce with all the council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. A resolution supporting the city of Ferguson, authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a contract with Pat Kelly for purchase of a skid steer loader and compact track loader.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I'll probably bring Corey Gilbert up on this a little bit more. He can probably speak to a little bit more of his expertise on this. But I do know that this one that we have in here is a used one, when Corey was able to get a price on a newer one, which may be a better purchase. With us especially going to be doing our own demos, we do need a skid steer with tracks. Otherwise, we'll be going through tires right and left. If you have any questions, Corey would be more the person to ask those to.
Councilman, Passoff.
Well,
Director Corey, could you please come to the podium?
Well, I was gonna ask what John has already touched on. The resolution is for a 3-year-old skid steer for $65,000. And the Kubota brand new is $69,000. I don't know whether Kubota, New Holland, are they comparable or?
So Kubota is a better brand.
It's a what?
It's a better brand.
So it's a better brand and it's brand new
Yeah.
and it's $4,000 more
$4,000.
and 3 years newer.
Yep.
Well, I think we probably don't want to pass this resolution then,
Yeah,
do we?
so at this point, I think we'd like to amend that resolution to put it in to the Kubota at 69,000. And we'll just change the wordage, if that's okay with council.
So, and I'm looking online and $69,000 seems to be ballpark about what those go for.
Corey, did you supply them with the other information for the Kubota?
Did we get any other bids on?
No, I just have the bid that we received today, versus the bid that was in, you guys' package.
Councilman Palmer.
Again, from my somewhat experience, a 3-year-old model or 4-year-old, actually at this point, with the amount of hours that it showed was on it, is probably about a third of its way through its life, depending on how it was actually used. And you really don't know how it was used. It could be used to mill asphalt or it could have been abused. You just don't know based on who the operator was. This equipment depreciates relatively quickly, so it seems to me to make quite a bit of sense for the additional $3,500 to get the new machine. Should last us a very long time if we take care of it. I mean, longer than any of us will probably be up here.
Councilman Casal.
I'd like to make a motion to amend resolution 2025-25, substituting the purchase of the new Kubota model from Crown Diversified rather than the Pat Kelly used one.
Okay. A motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
The resolution has been amended. Now we need to vote on the resolution.
So moved.
Second, Naquita Noah.
Deputy Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams,
Aye.
Resolution 2025-25 passes as the amended resolution. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Corey stay there because the next three.
Okay, don't move, Corey. Okay. We have resolution number 2025-26. Without objection, we're introduced by all the council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, Mayor. A resolution supporting the city of Ferguson, authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a roofing contract with Sharp Line Roofing.
City manager?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, as you know, we got hit pretty hard by the storm, this past summer. We went back, we brought you once before a resolution on, roofing. You guys did not like that. We went back out, numerous times and we finally got a couple more than one bid. And this really fits in within our insurance claim. And I believe our out of money pocket, maybe what, $300-400?
Roughly $400.
$400 to have the roof completely done.
Councilman Palmer?
Yeah, it looked like the scope was somewhat narrowed, and then also we were able to get more competitive pricing on the roofing itself, to the tune of probably $30,000 or $40,000. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman Franklin?
So this, Sharp Line Roofing, where are they located?
I think they're Troy, Chesterfield or something. Troy, Missouri.
Oh, so there's an issue, Sharp Line, are they doing business under that name or a different name? Do we-
That name.
Well, so the issue is, Sharp Line Roofing isn't, registered with the Missouri Secretary of State's office to do business in the state of Missouri.
Might be a DBA.
So that's why I asked if they're doing business as something else. We would need to know that before we can approve it because they're not licensed to operate here in Missouri.
Make sure the spelling is correct also. Might be a DBA.
That's exactly what it is. It's a DBA.
But I highly doubt a roofing company of that magnitude is operating without registering with the Secretary of State.
You'd be surprised.
No, he's right. I'm looking. They are not registered as, they would have to register as a foreign corporation,
That's correct.
and they have not done so.
Thanks, Nick.
I mean, it's something they can do online in 5 minutes for $50, but they need to do it.
So looking at the rest of the bids that we do have, we have 2 other bids. Are you suggesting you guys want us to go back out or?
No.
No, they
Because
say they need
This
to
was
be
hard,
registered,
very hard to get even
they
these
need
3.
to register with the state of Missouri.
We will look into the other ones and bring a resolution back to you.
Is this something they're getting ready to do soon? Like, are they poised?
We gotta get it done before winter.
Okay, so, why don't we do this? Let's pass the resolution, but make it contingent upon them register that prior to any work being done, that they must register a foreign corporation with the Secretary of State of Missouri.
Okay, and if they do not want to do that, do you want me?
If they don't want to do it, then tough luck. It's $50 and you go to the Secretary of State's website. It's not a big deal.
I'm saying-
But it's illegal for them to do business as a corporation in
I
the state of
see.
Missouri without doing that.
I'm just stating.
He
if they
has the
decide-
floor. He's talking to city manager.
If they decide not to do that, we can go talk to one of these 2 other people that put in, or do you want us to go back out? Because going back out, we still, after contacting numerous people, have them come out. No one gave us a bid except for these 3 people.
It's only, it's
Uh,
not that much.
And we've gone out, we've called people, we've done everything we could. Now, I'm not saying to use this person that's not registered, right? I'm just saying, if that person's not gonna do it, can we look at the next lowest bid?
Yes.
And then maybe do
No
resolution.
order. Councilman, city manager, please
Yeah,
finish.
and my only other concern is we don't have another meeting until December 20th, I believe, or something like that. We really need to get this roof done before winter starts and having snow just sitting on that roof, because we're gonna damage a lot of things on the inside. So if it's possible, I may have to call an emergency meeting if we find out if no one does that, or maybe potentially do something.
Okay, so the next highest bid, which is just under $20,000, so about $2,000 more, is from KAT Construction in Minnesota. They do have a foreign registration with the Secretary of State, so, I would say this, at this point then, contact Sharpline if they can get that done. Like I said, it's costs nothing. You go online, it takes no time. If they won't do it, I think we have to go with KAT because we can't do business with somebody that can't lawfully do business in the state of Missouri. And thank you, to my colleague for pointing that out.
Councilman Franklin.
So I would say the first suggestion, go down the list because the other 2 companies, they're licensed properly. So technically Sharpline, their bid is invalid because they're not even licensed to do business. So unfortunately, the only way we can reconsider Sharpline is if they, we open our process back up, which I don't think we want to do.
Okay, so
One minute,
I made
city manager.
Yes, Ryan, our city attorney, has something he'd like to say, and this is something we can put in the contract. Ryan,
So the resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with this entity. The contract itself, it's not uncommon for contracts to say that the contractor agrees to comply with all applicable state and local ordinances and regulations. If John wants to, the city manager wants to condition his signature on that, I think that's appropriate, even if the resolution is passed.
Councilman Kassoff.
My colleagues to my right have pointed out to me that in fact, KAT is not 19,980. I didn't see the fine print under that. They're actually, over $26,000. So there is a substantial price difference. I think given the advice of our city attorney, we could go ahead and authorize John to enter into a contract. John, it's gonna be on you to make sure that they do what they need to do.
Any other questions for the city manager? Councilman Palmer.
I'm fine with accepting the contract with Sharpline, assuming that they provide proof that they're a licensed business within the city of Ferguson. Also, at the same time, I assumed, but I just want to say it, that we're checking that they also have the proper insurance coverage too, and they, signed identification with the city and all that. So, thank you.
They don't have to be licensed within the city of Ferguson. Most of our contractors probably aren't. They have to be registered as a foreign corporation with the state of Missouri. That's the only requirement.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll have Ryan write up the
Okay.
contract, and then I will make sure that that's all taken care of. And if they do not, maybe we can forego the gutters right now, and then come back to the gutters, because that brought the price up. But I would have to talk to the contractor to see what they can do with the gutters we currently have.
The question becomes, do you want to pass this resolution and put the weight on the city manager to make certain that Sharpline does what it needs to get done?
yes,
Okay.
I would like to move to pass the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second, Lamika Covington.
Clerk London, please call the roll.
Councilman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Councilman Kassoff,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
No.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams,
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-26 passes. We move to resolution number 2025-27. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the city of Ferguson authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a contract with Weiss Design Group for Atmore Elkins Woodwind STBG 4901 655 Doctors Consultant Services.
City manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, at this point, I'm gonna give this to Corey, and he can talk a little bit more on this.
So, the STP projects, have to go out for a consultant. We have to follow the MoDOT guidelines. We go out for 14 days on our website, then we also go out for, a consultant on MoDOT's website also for 14 days. We also have to follow their guidelines as far as the grading list. And we only got 2 consultants for this particular job. And Weiss Design was the one that graded out the highest.
And the STPs are through East West, guess what? East West
East West
Gateway.
Gateway, yes, ma'am.
Councilman Palmer.
So assuming that we accept the resolution tonight and vote on it and pass it, accepting the qualifications of Weiss Design Group to do this work, is there still an RFP that goes out for the cost of doing the design work?
No, because it's MoDOT. It's a MoDOT based, it's a SCP grant, and at that point, we have no say in that, as far as.
So how do we know what Weiss Design Group is going to charge us?
So, yes, after they do the design work, and then the fee comes at that point, I don't know.
I went through this probably about 2 years ago. We have a 20-year history with Weiss Design Group, which could be good, but also could be bad. I was given some obscure RSMO passage about how with engineering projects, you get an RFQ for procurement, and then you go out for RFP for cost. Based on what I've kind of looked into, there's nothing that stops us from accepting the qualifications from multiple firms, which would allow us to get bids from multiple firms. Personally, I'm not comfortable with hiring somebody and not knowing what they're going to charge us, especially after last time I raised a stink, they shaved a couple $100,000 off their fee. That actually happened.
Yeah, that's because I took on some of the responsibility as well.
So I would like to see us my opinion is to accept the qualifications of both firms. Terra also has a lot of history with St. Louis and infrastructure improvements. Doesn't make us pay anybody anything, but at least we can still solicit bids from both firms for the cost of the services rendered. I don't see it adding any additional time. All it is a matter of amending the resolution to accept both the qualifications of both firms that submitted qualifications. But there's 6 more of us up here that have to have opinions as well when it comes to that matter.
Councilman Cassoff.
I'm confused because I'm looking at the bill that was attached to our agenda on Friday, and it says 3 bids were received for consultant services for the above referenced project. And it doesn't name them and the bids aren't attached, so I don't even know what we're voting on here.
It was only 2.
Okay, well, I'm looking, this is Atmore Elkins Woodwind, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, well, that was not attached and all we have is a memorandum and it says 3 bids were received. So it's these 2, but they're not bids. So a bid has money attached to it. Now, my understanding, and Councilor Franklin is, where did Councilor Franklin go?
He decided to leave without being excused by the mayor.
Well, Councilor,
Huh?
It's a request for qualifications, not request for bid prices.
it's what?
It's a request for qualifications, not a request for bid prices.
Okay, but my understanding from your response to his question earlier was that if we accept this RFQ, then they move forward, do the work and send us a bill. And my understanding, and Councilor Franklin had a conversation with the state of Missouri. My understanding is that any contract we enter into that's more than $10,000, we are required by state law to do competitive bidding. I'm not seeing that here. Now, Councilor Franklin, am I not understanding something that you said previously about that? Or do we need to get competitive bids on something that's over $10,000?
Councilman Franklin.
So I would say we would need competitive bidding as it relates to this. They should be able to provide us with some type of estimate of what type of work they're gonna do. Shouldn't just be a blank check. We do the work and then here's your bill.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay, so
It doesn't work like that.
The last time we went up for an RFQ, it was basically on their qualifications and had no money attached to it, and that's when we used the ARPA funds. So if we're wanting to do it more of an RFP, then we can do potentially an RFP, correct?
But then we have to go back to MoDOT to ask if that's part of their guidelines.
Well, again, I want to get back to what Councilor Franklin up in his conversation with the state of Missouri. I believe we are required by law to get competitive bids if it's more than $10,000. So that's not a bid. A bid has to have a price.
This is a step inside of the East-West Gateway guidelines, what we're following. This is the part of that application that we have to.
So are you telling me if we do something through East-West Gateway,
We have to
then
follow
it's,
their guidelines.
then it's exempted from Missouri procurement law requirements?
Councilman Palmer.
That's a lawyer question, really.
Kind of had to do some research since the last time, because last time we were under the gun to get it approved, and actually Weiss had already completed a lot of work last time. We saw scopes of work and they were upset because the scope of work was the other bidders, so on and so forth. We ultimately went with Weiss and saved a bunch of money by raising a stink, but from my understanding, We put an RFQ out and you evaluate the qualifications of those who submit qualifications. It appears that has happened.
Yes.
Terra submitted and Weiss submitted. But nothing stops the city of Ferguson from accepting the qualifications of both and then going to RFP for proposal fees, a fee schedule, a bid for what that's going to cost. I will never make a vote for any resolution that doesn't have dollars and cents on it, ever, up here. It will never happen. Because that contract could say you're willing to pay Weiss whatever they charge us. And they could say it's $2 million. Do I think that's gonna happen? Probably not, but they could. It's really hard for some, we have limited number of resources financially for the city, and it's really hard to just say, okay, here you go. We believe you, we trust you.
We still have to put it out for bid though, is what I'm saying. Like, this is just for qualifications for.
So generally, my understanding was you put an RFQ out, you review the qualifications of said professionals, but then you also put out an RFP for the fee service associated with that.
After it's accepted by East West Gateway.
My concern is if we only accept the qualifications of Weiss, are we limiting ourselves to only getting proposals from one? Or is the argument gonna be when the proposal comes out, we didn't review the qualifications of the ones?
That'll be a question I'll have to take to East West Gateway and MoDOT and see if we can submit 2 firms to see if we can go out for RFQ at that point.
What do you want to do with resolution number 2025-27? City manager.
I was gonna ask if this is what we need to do, then maybe we put both of them on both of these resolutions. And then Corey, if we can pass this, then let Corey go out to East West Gateway, and then we can come back. If we cannot do that, then we'll come back to you, and state if we can.
City city attorney.
I would like to ask the city attorney, there is a statutory requirement for competitive bidding by political subdivisions of the state when the amount of the contract is over $10,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In the event that we have a project which is being paid for by East West Gateway, to your knowledge, does that in any way exempt that project from those requirements?
Not to my knowledge currently, but that doesn't mean that the answer is no. I would want to take a specific look at that specific question.
It's an important question, though.
I agree.
City manager.
Yeah, my first question is, Corey, do we have a timeline that this has to be done by?
Yes, we do.
And do you know that timeline? Would we be able to go to East West Gateway and come back in December?
Yeah, I'm sure
the
that's
December
possible.
meeting, and then maybe bring the resolution a cleaner to it.
That's possible.
Councilman Palmer.
If council would like, I can make a motion to accept the qualifications of both firms that submitted qualifications. In no way does it put the city into any kind of legally binding agreement. It doesn't slow anything down at all. If anything, it gets us more bids when the time comes to do the RFP, which has to come anyway.
I'll second that. Go ahead.
You put a motion on the floor to
Turn your microphone on, Mike.
amend.
I make a motion to amend the resolution 2025-27 to accept the qualifications of Weiss Design Group and Terra accept their qualifications for the design work for the street improvements for Atmore, Elkins, and Woodwind.
Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, London, could you please call the roll, and do not start with Councilwoman Naquita Noor. It should start with the person who put the motion on the floor.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
and Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-27 has been amended and approved.
We're gonna have the same thing on 28.
We're gonna have the same thing with 28.
Mike, you wanna make a motion on 28 or should I?
The circumstances the same?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do this. We got resolution number 2025-28 without objection introduced by the council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
A resolution of the city of Ferguson authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a contract with Weiss Design Group for services of Paul Avenue STBG 4901-654 consultant services.
Okay, city manager.
I believe we've already, we want to do the same wordage prior to it.
Okay. Councilman Palmer.
I make a motion to amend the resolution to accept the qualifications of Weiss Design Group as.
Turn your
well as-
microphone on.
I make a motion to amend the resolution to accept the qualifications of both Weiss Design Group as well as Terra for the consultation and design services for the Paul Avenue STBG 4901-654 project.
And I'll second that. And by the way, the reason I'm telling you to turn your microphone on is people on Zoom complain every meeting that they can't hear people. So we got to be conscious of that.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that resolution number 2025-28 be amended to accept the authorization from the two, Weiss and Terra. Deputy London, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilman Williams,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Resolution number 2025-28 has been approved. Thank you, Director Corey.
He's gonna stay next.
You need to stay up there again? Okay, this is the, we move to bills requiring the first reading. There's no vote on a bill for the first reading. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present.
I don't want to be a sponsor of this one.
Okay. Anyone else that do not want to be a sponsor of bill number 7321?
Oh, wait a minute. Is this different than the one we had before? Is this doing it within the city?
Yes.
Okay, then I will sponsor it. I thought this was the same one as before. It's like this long, the description. No, I retract my non-sponsorship.
Okay. Without objections, we're introduced with council members present. Attorney Ryan, could you read the bill by title only?
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance for the purpose of establishing minimum regulations for controlling erosion and sediment from land disturbance activities at construction sites within the city of Ferguson, Missouri, providing for the issuance of permits, making of inspections, collection of permits and inspection fees, and providing penalties for the violation thereof through the adoption of the Land Disturbance Code for the city of Ferguson, Missouri.
City manager.
Yes, Mayor, Council. Just to give you a little bit more background, as everyone knows, we're gonna try to have St. Louis County do some of this work. However, with your guidance and telling us go back and look at the drawing board, we did. And this is one of the ordinances that we need to pass in order to be compliant in this section.
But to be clear, we're passing this and we are controlling the
This is
process and the
an ordinance-
inspections at the city level, not delegating it to the county.
Correct. There's nothing in here that says the St. Louis County would do any of the inspections. Our own city inspectors will do it, or I believe Corey will. This is just an ordinance that we need to have in place to make ourselves compliant. Right now,
Which I'm fine with, but something I want looked at before our next meeting, and I'll try to do it myself, but it might be a Ryan thing or a you thing or a staff thing. All this ordinance says is we are adopting the county's ordinance. If the county's ordinance specifies that inspections are done by a particular department of the county, then adopting their ordinance delegates that process, even if we don't explicitly say
what-
so.
What I can do is make sure that you guys have a copy of that as well, and then, if we need to change wordage, then I'll change
Okay.
wordage.
I'm perfectly fine with controlling erosion. I'm not fine
Yeah.
with delegating things to the
Okay,
county,
We're
so.
in agreement, and then after we looked at the process and we talked to the people in county, we know that we have the expertise to do this in-house.
Terrific. Let's make sure that that's what we're actually passing.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Palmer, turn your mic on.
Is this ordinance going to fall under like our current grading, similar areas?
I
We
believe so.
currently have an ordinance already for grading and land disturbance.
Yes.
Has to do with you to remove more than a foot of material from your garage.
I believe it's over amount of acreage.
It has to do with fill, I think bringing fill in, but also removing material, I think as well. So thank you.
Okay. We move to bills requiring the second reading. It is now 9:06, but we're gonna get this finished.
Hurry, hurry.
Hey, we had bill number 7320. I'm requesting a motion in a second to place, bill number 7320 upon its passage.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City manager, do you have anything else? Wait a minute, Attorney Ron? Councilwoman Orr?
In the last council meeting, I think that was September 23rd, I asked to have my name added to the bill as a sponsor.
Your name will be added to the bill once the minutes are approved. The minutes have not been approved from September the 23rd.
Thank you.
But we do have a note of that. Thank you, ma'am. Okey dokey, Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill by title?
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, on behalf of the city to accept for the regulation of the health, welfare, benefit, morals, and beautification of the community.
City manager, do you have anything to add?
Yes, Mayor. So as you know, St. Louis County really does not maintain the lots that they own, inside the city of Ferguson. With this bill, we will be able to obtain those lots, hopefully from St. Louis County, and then we'll be able to maintain them, and potentially put a lien on the property. Well,
Councilman Palmer.
We would own them.
Okay, Councilman Palmer.
Am I correct in assuming this will be conveyed to the city by trustees deed? I do want to make staff and the public know that trustees deeds are essentially valueless when it comes to transfer of ownership. There is a legal process called quieting title that needs to take place before the city could meaningfully transfer ownership of these to anybody else within the city. Has staff at all looked into or worked on looking into our inventory of collectors deeds, trustees deeds, and all these different properties to evaluate title condition on many of these, or?
It's a process we're working through right now. We have all the titles in the safe right now. We're going through them to see what status they are, and that's.
My suggestion would be, once you determine, you could, if you have a spreadsheet, you could put a deed category and put special warranty deed, general warranty deed, collector's deed, trustees deed, sheriff's deed, so on and so forth. There are certain conditions of deed ownership that will require title clearing for any kind of meaningful development to happen on those properties. I would encourage staff to get the whole list complete, maybe come to council or next year in budget to look at hiring a law firm to do a bulk filing to quiet those titles. If we bulk file those, the cost might come back at between $500 and $850 a piece to do that. If we do them a la carte, it might be $3,000 to $6,000. They essentially, the lawyer would be in front of one judge and handling many of these at one time. And most likely an attorney who is very experienced in this and already has a docket assigned with a specific judge. So that's something I'd like to see staff work on, because I'd hate to see another issue where with Habitat for Humanity, who backed out of their deal to construct homes in Ferguson due to issues with clouds on title. If the city wants to have any kind of meaningful infill housing, we need to make sure the title we're transferring has some sort of value. It also makes it a lot easier for us to hold those developers or people that want to build a single home accountable, because they can't hide behind well, it took me 9 years to get the title clear. We handed them marketable title. So there's no excuse to not apply for a building permit within a month or two. Thank you.
I have nothing further.
It has been properly moved in second. Deputy Clerk London, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Cassoff,
Aye.
Councilman Franklin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah. Aye. Councilwoman Covington,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Bill number 7320, pass it. Do we have any unfinished business? Councilwoman Orr?
Thank you, Mayor Jones. The residential daycare, ordinance, is there an update or is that something that's coming in December? The residential,
On that,
Okay.
ordinance.
okay,
So.
okay,
so
it's
they're all-
still being worked on, the residential,
Yeah,
not the commercial, the residential.
I know.
Okay.
We had a work session over it, and I believe you guys said that you were gonna write a,
If you're talking about the
ordinance.
square footage around the
Yeah.
residences and how you want to
Properties.
split it up, what you want it to look like.
Yeah, so we were letting you guys write.
Yeah, I had sent an email out to everybody. Gosh, it's been like a month ago and I'm 2 months ago and nobody responded and I honestly forgot all about it. Do you want to work on that with me?
That's
Just,
fine, yeah, because residents are asking, there's someone asking, and I know that we're over compliance in Ward 1, but I would like to see a resolution to this. So sure, let's work together on that. The second piece of, I'm sorry.
can you send me an email? Cause I'll forget again.
Right, we both will. So we need to set an alarm on our phone. The second is the stop sign on Harrison. Is there any update from the traffic, the city
You
on
know,
that?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I drove by there yesterday. I texted Chief Hampton and hopefully he, can you have,
Yeah. So, it's already been approved and we will have one put up there.
Thank you so much.
Anything else, Councilwoman Orr?
Thank you. Madam
Thank
President.
you, thank you, ma'am. Any other unfinished business? We move to new business. Any new business? Hear none? We start with miscellaneous. Let's start with Councilwoman Covington, who is fresh back from vacation.
I will say I'm glad to be back in St. Louis, but it's starting to get cold, so, I have nothing. It's after 9 o'clock and, it's good to see everybody.
Thank you, Councilwoman Covington. Councilman Cassoff.
I'm gonna make my contribution to timely ending of the meeting. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving.
Councilwoman Orr.
Well, I have a few comments. We didn't have a meeting, last month, so I just want to thank the Ferguson staff, the fire department and FPD for an incredible national night out along with the residents. Thank you all to all of the Ferguson neighborhood leaders and residents who participated. It was a great night. Thank you, fire staff, for attending the Southeast Ward 3 Family of Faith Missionary Baptist Church Harvest Fest on October the 11th. The children really enjoyed the fire truck. Thank you so much. I do want to speak to the comments made during the status hearing by Councilman Cassoff. He's talked about the city's tight budget and the funding constraints, and the road improvements and the speed humps. And I just, for clarity, we all know there were speed humps placed throughout the city, 110 speed humps with the ARPA dollars. And many of the streets did not receive a speed hump. And it wasn't due to the funding, though. It was explained that it was due to the data from the Jamar device. And that the council at the time, didn't want to place speed humps, from my understanding, on certain streets based upon the data. And so I still am advocating for those speed humps near our parks, like on Happen and Nesbit, because it's really important that we get speed humps there. Forestwood Neighborhood Association will meet Tuesday, December 2nd at Emmaus Bible Chapel at 900 Highmont at Hornet. Nesbit Newton will meet Wednesday, December 17th at 6 p.m. at the Ferguson Empowerment Center, 9420 West Florissant Avenue. And West Ferguson neighbors will meet at 6 p.m. at the Ferguson Library this coming Thursday, the 20th. The chief mentioned it, city manager, Chief Hampton, the Ferguson Special Business District. We're inviting everyone, please come out on Sunday, December the 7th to celebrate with us and, witness the tree lighting ceremony and, support the vendors. Please bring your family and your friends. And it's Sunday, December 7th at Plaza at 501 from 3 until 6 p.m. The Ferguson Human Rights Commission is seeking Advocate of the Year nominees for 2025. I did share that information on the Ferguson Facebook pages, and it's on the city's website. So if you know someone who fits the criteria, please, and they live in Ferguson, we're looking for people who support Ferguson human rights. And the application deadline is January 31st, 2026. Lastly, regarding the progress of the status hearing, as the judge stated, so much momentum has been made. We do not want to go backwards, and that's all I'll say about that at this time, but we just want to keep the momentum going. Lastly, I listened to a couple of the residents. I do want to speak to the residents' comments tonight. The lady from Ward 3 who lives on Dupree, she left early before we could state that there has been a lot of homes demoed. And I know that planning and development is doing their best to clean up the areas. I mean, I do see a difference in Ward 3. I'm not going to say that I don't. I wish she wouldn't have left so we could have had a conversation. I'll also speak to the I don't agree with the city paying for the course for Ms. Brooks and then removing the participant from the course. That's my personal opinion. Why pay and then remove someone? But I'm just one person on this council. The action just doesn't support building and bridging community trust. Lastly, thank you, Ferguson staff, for all that you do, and I wish everyone a safe and holiday season.
Thank you, Councilwoman Orr. Councilman Palmer,
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman Williams.
So it's the holiday season. Everybody needs to be safe. So when you're buying those packages, you put them in your car, make sure they're not visible because people will break in your car. If you're getting packages delivered to your house, they have pickup spots, Amazon, or see if a neighbor can get your package. And thirdly, online scamming is $1 billion industry. So your parents or grandparents, check on them. And seniors, if it's too good to be true, don't click on certain links. Like if they're saying they're going to turn off your electricity, you need to pay and go to Western Union and things of that nature. Just be cognizant and aware because around this time, cyber crime increases and so does physical crime, and just be safe during the holiday seasons.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Franklin.
So this weekend I'll be out in Ward 2 knocking doors. I realize not everyone in our community can be at these meetings on Tuesday nights, and they're not online, they're not on social media. So I'll be walking Ward 2. Some of you in the audience have my end of year newsletters. I'll be passing that out, connecting with residents, let them know what their councilman has been doing the 6+ months since I've been in office. Also, I would like to plug City of Dalewood. They started their winter session for midnight basketball, started 2 weeks ago. So they're looking for volunteers for those young men. And it's Friday evenings from 8 to midnight. So reach out to the City of Dalewood if you're interested in volunteering your time. I plan to be there a few weeks when my wife allows it. And Erica Brooks, you know how I feel about your situation. And next fall, hopefully this council will pay for that class. If they do not, I've already told you, I'll cover it for you to make sure you get that training that's valuable to our city. Everybody have a good holiday.
Deputy Clerk London. Attorney Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. I typically don't do this, but the Book of Proverbs says that whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. 10 years ago, I asked Suzanne Marie Bradley to marry me. 9 years ago, she did. And I have obtained much favor since. So I'm very grateful for my wife on my 9th anniversary.
Thank you. City manager. Assistant city manager. Okay, I'd just like to say, I did not tell Adrian Shropshire to go to the community development person to enroll Erica Brooks in the class. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion in a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned. Well, we got totally finished. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Yeah, we needed one more to go and I just finished it. Oh. City manager. Come on.